Animal abuse is a growing epidemic. Millions of animals all over the world are being abused and killed every day. It's up to us to make sure their voice is heard.
In America, millions of animals die each year from cruelty and neglect. According to the Humane Society of the U.S., 57% were dogs, 18% were cats, and 25% involved other animals.
Many organizations in America and around the world are educating the public about animal cruelty and how to prevent it.
What exactly is animal cruelty? The National Center for Prosecution of Animal Abuse defined it as any of these actions: animal fighting, bestiality, physical harm, and targeting the pets for physical harm in order to coerce humans into silence or compliance of their own abuse.
Stallone, however, caught me off guard with his injuries. I mean, that face, he just, very sweet eyes, tail always wagging the entire time. So it was more of an emotional thing to become attached to that dog. The tail was the only thing that really didn't have any bite marks on it. That poor dog was just wagging away, wagging away. I can't quite wrap my mind around how a dog who has been that physically and mentally abused can still curl up in your lap and give you a kiss.
Many of these cases are intentional forms of abuse and are easily recognizable to anybody. But most cases of abuse that come into shelters are forms of animal neglect. Cases of neglect include abandonment, failure to provide proper food, water, and shelter, failing to provide medical care, hoarding, puppy mills, starvation, and tethering a dog outside without proper care.
Aside from the obvious physical effects of animal abuse, there were many psychological effects as well. According to a study conducted by Duffy, McMillan, and Serpell, animals who were abused showed more signs of aggression, fear, and anxiety.
Right now, the law states that animals are viewed as property and do not have individual rights, but that doesn't mean there aren't consequences for animal cruelty. All 50 states have felony provisions in their animal cruelty laws now.
The laws for animal cruelty aren't strong enough, though. A lot of cases for animal cruelty have been dismissed because of the lack of evidence, and also since most of the cases are animal neglect, it can be hard to identify and prosecute the criminals. Other animal cruelty cases famous in the media have been the cases against SeaWorld for their unethical treatment of whales, the Yulin Dog Meat Festival in China, and Cecil the lion's wrongful death.
We wanted to help the mission to save the dogs and cats in our area, so we volunteered at the Animal Rescue League of El Paso.
The Animal Rescue League of El Paso is a non-profit, no-kill rescue organization that rescues, rehabilitates, and places approximately 1,300 dogs, cats, puppies, and kittens a year. Volunteer work and donations are what keeps the shelter going.
Their mission statement is to serve stray, abandoned, orphaned, injured, and abused companion animals by providing medical care and shelter in times of need, locating lifelong homes, and promoting responsible pet guardianship through education, legislation, and sterilization. At the organization, we helped out with the daily activities of caring for the dogs and cats, such as feeding, scooping poop, cleaning kennels, washing the dishes, and of course, spending time with the animals.
According to Loretta Hyde, the Animal Rescue League of El Paso's director, there have been about 50 cases of extreme animal abuse in the shelter. The dogs that don't recover from the abuse are put down, or haven't adapted well enough to be adopted. Loretta Hyde says that the dogs don't live in the past, but it still takes a lot of time and patience to train the animals to love again.
Targeting animal abuse is important because it can be linked to other forms of violence, especially in a household. According to the Humane Society of the U.S., 71% of domestic violence victims reported that their abuser also targeted their animal.
It's up to us to be their voice.
Join us in the stand for animal rights and help us end animal cruelty.